Hi guys, I want to do a reading for you today, and I'm going to be using one of the most adorable things I have seen in a long time. I want to give a shout out to my friend Krista. She is amazing, and she actually bought this for me as a gift, and I'm so thankful for it. And I actually spent some time marinating with the deck, when I get my first reading out of it. I wanted to make sure I gave like a really good reading from it, and the cards are actually adorable. So I'm going to show you the cards first, and then I'm going to go through and show you what I wrote down. So we got the Temperance card. How adorable is that? I love it. So thank you, Krista. you get me, girl. You get me. So we got Ace of Cups. Love it. Absolutely love it. Seven of Pentacles. Look at that. It's cute. King of Wands. Five of Pentacles. Strength. Absolutely adorable. The Hermit with my card. Love it. Eight of Swords. I love the ball of yarn. It's adorable. And the Moon. So, yay! I finally have a new deck. Obviously, when you're doing this as a profession, the most exciting thing is a new deck every time. And my favorite thing is the different translations with it. So, so I spent some time with it, and I did my note-taking woo-woo for it. So I'm going to go through and read what I have come up with when I sat with these cards for a while, because obviously you first initial thing is like, oh my god, they're adorable, but then you want to try to make yourself, okay, now a real message with the adorable. So what I got today is that everything falls under the energy of 11. So quickly I will pull up some of the meanings for 11. I said quickly, and then here I am just fussing. Okay, so it's sometimes spiritual insight, inspiration, enlightenment, and sometimes when we become aware of our own sensitivity, and sometimes it is an intensified energy, and it's considered an intuitive messenger. The 11 has a lot of different things that it can mean. And also, if you are someone who does My Human Design, I would tell you to look up Gate 11. That might be something that is current for you. So 11 is the number. And then also it would talk about the hopes, dreams, and wishes, goals, and aspirations sector of our life. So think about what's happening in your life in that area, the long-term goals that we have, and sometimes our friendships, right? So one of the things when I was sitting with the Temperance card, the adorable cuteness, I just opened a bottle and everything is out of control. So that's funny. Obviously this Temperance card is surrounding a party, right? And we're to assume that this energy is some sort of alcohol in some kind of way. And you see the hand reaching in like, hey, I'll take some of that. So that energy came through, and it said sometimes there can be an overwhelming situation, right? Some people may feel good about it, or some people could feel crushed by the situation. So it's up to you what you're experiencing. So the energy comes under the teacher, and experience through storytelling and reflection, and sharing sometimes mental images, which, sometimes when we envision something, we explain or are able to give what's happening in our brain in a way that is palatable to other people, which sometimes could be like audible, visual, physical, something like that. The kind of thinking that does not need to be logical but is powerful when shared with those who are ready to receive, right? So energy of Seven of Pentacles. Somebody doesn't always think that they're ready or they're good enough, or what they're doing will be appreciated by a collective, and it's not always a collective that we need to appreciate. our information. Sometimes it's just one person is enough, but sometimes we will withhold what we're doing until we're ready. And the Seven of Pentacles would show in this instance that we are ready to go forward and show, we learn as we go. You're not going to just know everything right out the gate and be 100% prepared. The goal is to continue to learn. This is sharing impactful, heartfelt ways, or in an impactful, heartfelt way, and usually within a close-knit circle of community. So, what I just said. And one who channels dreamy, poetic, symbolic insight. So, one thing I did notice when I was looking at the cards is, so I noticed the King of Wands, right? And so the King of Wands is a really cool dude, sometimes very impatient. But one thing I did notice is that he's sitting on top of a lion, right? Sitting on top of a lion. So one of the things I'd like to point out is an energy of, I wrote it down here actually. I wrote steamrolled, which, sometimes sometimes it can come from a place of insecurity, or it can come from a place of wanting to be seen as a certain caliber of respectability and whatever. And sometimes in our way of going to be on top, we have a tendency to squash other people. So, or it could have happened to you where you feel like someone is trying to hold you down and trying to squash you or steamroll you, literally. And it's something that happens so fast and powerfully that sometimes we didn't have a time to react appropriately or fast enough to protect ourselves, or just in general say anything, So when something happens, sometimes we're just kind of like, okay, that happened. Okay, that happened. That was intense. So it says you have plenty of reasons to stop doing it. You're emotionally wiped out. So we'll think about the Five of Pentacles. Sometimes situations, friendships, different things don't work out the way that we had planned. That's something. I'm going to leave that there for just a second. So again, back to the truthful messages or invoking soul deep conversations that cause people to walk away changed. Energy of going to extremes quickly, all in or all out, which that would be this guy here. He's either in or he's out, but he's definitely moving something. Constantly got to move. Learning what is true care. Learning what true care even feels like, right? So sometimes we have hard lessons in that area, and it teaches us what true strength is by showing us what weakness felt like. Learning through friction, where we can burn with ideas and possibly obsess over them. Or experience frustration when you can't make something real enough or fast enough. And it's a pressure to teach or express before you're ready, right? Which would cause sometimes people who are, I'm not ready, I'm going to kind of hide in my hole sometimes a little bit. And a sharing of ideas that others don't quite seem to catch just yet. Producing something that moves hearts but struggles to connect sometimes, right? So struggling to connect. You're sometimes could struggle with yourself feeling closed off, or feeling closed off from other people. Like, for example, like when I do readings, sometimes it's either going to connect with somebody or it's not. Same thing with whatever it is you're doing. That basically your tribe is going to vibe and nobody else. It'll just right over everybody's head. They're just going to be like, she's weird. Yes, I am. I release what no longer defines me, and I honor my past, and I walk into my future whole. On the verge of a major shift that is caused by a tiny action, accidentally saying something that triggers a karmic unraveling of some sort, right? Which would, this moment makes me think of that. But sometimes these two here, I'm sorry I'm being very sporadic and disorderly today, but You're welcome. So these two could be a party, it could be a social event, something like that. You know, this one is where I got the energy of the drinking energy. So this could be, you know, if you see the little tiny hand coming in there on the side, here it is again. So maybe if someone has a drinking problem, right there, it just started with one sip and then turned into the whole damn barrel. So just be careful with overindulging in things, I guess, or sometimes overindulging in our emotions. We can hang out in a vibe and an energy field that's not always the most positive for us to hang out for too long, so just be careful of that. And there's a need to protect your mental health and imaginative boundaries, which this one here, the moon card, sometimes points out where we have, you know, a wolf and a dog, and sometimes this means to know a friend from a foe, right? But also, like, sometimes allowing ourselves, you know, with the energy of being elevated, not being able to see things 100% as real as they are. You may be forced to stand firm in your visionary voice. Moody, emotional, defense, or fighting with feelings. Not physically, but mentally having confrontations. So, 29 degrees. I don't remember why I wrote that. Oh, Cancer. Yeah, that's why we wrote it. Cancer is at 29 degrees when I was writing this one, so it's now moved into Leo, but at the time it was at 29 degrees. And it said it's tied to big lessons, breaking points, and emotional breakthroughs. So the emotional breakthrough that we're experiencing sometimes comes from good things, sometimes it comes from hard things, but either way, we learn. And it says a strong need to defend a home or body, which is home, to defend my home. And then there's an energy of, I can't keep holding it in, I will blow and I will cry while doing it. So this energy here is a lot for that one for me. So feeling everything very strongly in the energy of it's time. Sometimes an emotional purge point, back to the Ace of Cups. And the shedding of the armor. So this one you don't really see the shedding of the armor because you just see them walking away from something. But a lot of times the hurt and the grievances are now behind us. The bad friendships, the bad situations, something is now behind us. The sensation of getting steamrolled or being walked all over or being, you know, somebody's doormat is over, you know. And then it says possibly from childhood, past life, or this life, and a lesson of a moment that you can't forget. There are emotional tensions around being misunderstood currently or in memory of past events. Personal mythology. So like who you've been many times in this life and what people remember you as. Like the version of you that lives in somebody's mind that has died many moons ago, but that's who they know, so that's what they talk about. So it may cause you to feel the urge to correct or respond with a truth from your inner world, which would be the Hermit energy. Okay. And the last, there it is. Because you lived it and you felt it and you burned through it. Points of faded passion, decisions or impactful feelings, growing pains that push you to become bolder, considering a breakthrough. So sometimes the moments where we feel weakest are actually the strongest points of our life. We just don't realize it. And sometimes it does have to come through discomfort and confrontation or a sensation of dawning in some kind of or a download of information. Your mind isn't broken, it's blessed. So sometimes we can be so far ahead in a different direction that we can see it, but other people who are near us aren't understanding it, and sometimes we think that we're weird and like what we're doing is not no one's going to understand us, you know. the energy of just being so far out there. But sometimes it's not that, like even with me with my readings, it's not that the message isn't valid, it's just sometimes the person who needs it didn't find it yet, if that helps anybody on the other side of this. The visions, your talents, aren't here for you to hoard. They are seeds that grow your future. And it asks, why are you still holding yourself back? To release the old ideas or the memories and situations that you have experienced over time and that limited mental narrative. And then it says to stop bottling it up in your brain space, right? So this card shows overflowing information. You know, like when the dove drops the coin into the cup and it overflows everything, sometimes those good moments, purging, and also the release point of something that I've had inside of myself for far too long. And it's how can you allow yourself to let go, to open up, and allow yourself to feel good again, to laugh again, to let yourself play again, and to cut the ties that drain you, and to fight for the ones who show up for you, even if that's just you right now. So, I hope that you guys appreciated this reading. Quick, I have one more note. Sorry, hold on please. I have underneath here, the energies of the cards all together added up is the Sun in Leo, which is an enlightenedly gained through persistence, deep thought, the shredding of something internal, and sometimes it's causing of inner work, which is the purging of stuff and self-mastery. And then we had Saturn in Capricorn, energy of needing to understand the necessity of patience and protection through a restriction and accepting current limitations while working to overcome them. Then we have Mars in Aries, a warrior-like approach to challenges, and it may need to temper aggression with wisdom. So this card here, not wanting to squash other people, own your power, but don't take power away from anybody else. And then entering a new phase, the North Node, of life, gaining important knowledge that is the start of something significant. So, thank you, Krista, for the amazing, beautiful, cute tarot cards. I'm so thankful for those, and I hope that somewhere in the universe somebody resonates with my random weirdness. Bye, guys.